Man's got to know his limitations.
So as I'm recording this today is the 31st of May 2025 and it is Clint Eastwood's 95th birthday. Now what I'm going to do for this video, because I'm kind of planning a few videos, not necessarily back to back, one every night, but over the near future, some videos talking about Clint Eastwood movies and my collection, and also my co-review with a core wants to talk a little bit about these. But point of this video is to just show what my video collection is, my home video, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. But I just wanted to say about Clint Eastwood, just remember the legacy that he's got. It's kind of crazy when you think back and look at it, because it seemed like he was an old man when I was a kid and I was watching In the Line of Fire, which was in 1993. And at the time, like I say, he kind of felt like an old man, whereas that movie now is like 32 years old. So that's really about halfway through his major film career. I mean, it went back into the 50s, you could say. But that's just crazy, is that even back then, he was only halfway through. Because he's carried on doing movies up till very recently, the last few years. So, I mean, it's kind of mental when you think about it. In the 1950s, that was when he was doing B movies. The 1960s obviously took off big time with the spaghetti westerns and some of the others that he did, like Where Eagles Dare, and I think Coogan's Bluff might have been late 60s as well, I think. Then in the 70s, obviously, even bigger, so he carried on doing westerns like The Outlaw Josie Wales. That was, of course, the decade that the Dirty Harry movies picked up. Through the 80s as well, more Dirty Harry movies, more sort of gritty movies. And then he did Pale Rider, which I think was the only western he did in the 80s. Then through into the 90s, when he was doing a lot of the sort of thrillers and so on. Some comedies as well. And then in the early 2000s, that first decade, he was doing movies like Space Cowboys, and rounded out that decade with Gran Torino. And you'd think that was it. We always thought when that film came out, right, that's it, that's his last film. But then he carried on doing more. And then was it 2017, 2018, I think, he did The Mule, which he was in. And he's directed movies as well during this period too. And then Cry Macho, I believe that came out in the year 2020, maybe 2021. I know it took its time to come to the UK, but I would count that as being in the 2020s. So every decade since the 50s, we've had Clint Eastwood. What a legacy. Right then, so this is my Clint Eastwood collection. I'm going to look through each item that I've got, because some of these are box sets and some of them are individual titles. So I'm just going to go through them and show you which ones I've selected for my collection. So that's the purpose of this video, and there will be follow-ups to talk about certain individual ones as well. So some of the single ones that I've got. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, it's not as much of a well-known one. I mean, obviously fans of Clint Eastwood will know of it, but it's not the first one that springs to mind. Pretty good film. It's not, again, I mean, I say that, it's not one that I've watched that many times, maybe only a couple of times, to be honest. Not one that I was aware of when I was younger, anyway. In the Line of Fire, now that is one I was aware of when I was younger. I remember buying that on videotape back in the day. I think I've had it on like every format that's come out: VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, now 4K UHD. I did actually go to Washington a couple of months ago and filmed. Well, in fact, I'll just insert that here. Yeah, so Q, you've got to remember, if you're ever talking to a lass and you want to know if she's interested, when she walks away, she'll turn and she'll smile at you while she's walking away. That's how you know. Somebody said that on these very steps once. It was in a film, so.
If she looks back, that means she's interested. Come on now, give me a little look. A little glance back. Give me that smug look and be on your way. Well, Abe. Damn. Wish I could have been there for you, pal.
Yeah, it's hard to be doing a bit of goofiness. You can see the guy that I was with. I had no clue what I was referring to, but there you go. Escape from Alcatraz, that's another one that I've been a long time fan of. I think it's one of the first Clint Eastwood films that I bought when I was a lot younger. Really good film. Tightrope, that's one that sometimes gets confused with being a Dirty Harry film because he plays another kind of cop that is a little bit politically incorrect. So a lot of times this film, and also The Gauntlet, that's another one that people think is a Dirty Harry film, but it's actually not. Hang 'em High, that's a Western. They usually, sometimes that comes in box sets with the spaghetti Western films, I think because it's an MGM title. But I've got that separately. Sully, now he's not in this film, it's just one that he directed, but it's a very good film. I keep that in my collection. To me, it's more of a Clint Eastwood film than a Tom Hanks film, even though Clint Eastwood's not even in the film. I don't know, it's just kind of the stamp of the guy himself, kind of left on the movie. Unforgiven, I think that's the last Western that he ever did. And I remember it coming out at the time, obviously won a lot of Oscars and so on. Well deserved as well. Good Gene Hackman film as well, who passed away recently. The Mule, that's the last movie of his that I saw in a cinema. There was another one, which I'll get to in a moment, called Cry Macho, but that didn't get a cinema release in the UK, at least not a decent cinema release. So The Mule, that's the last time that I probably will see him in a cinema, because I don't know if he's ever going to do any more movies where he appears on screen. But we'll see about that anyway. But very good film anyway. Based on a true story, and it's I kind of put some people off that film by telling them it's a bit of a sad one, but yeah, it depends how you look at it. In some ways, the ending's quite a happy ending. So right, okay, so let's have a look at the other titles. So as I say, Cry Macho, that's another film. I don't even think you can even get that on Blu-ray in the UK, so I had to just get this on DVD, which is a bit annoying. But decent enough film. I believe it was written for him sometime in the 80s, but it just never got made. So I think that's what I read. I seem to remember reading anyway. And you kind of get the feel of that. You can kind of picture this being a movie that he would have done when he was in his 50s. But still quite a decent film from memory. It's not anything action-packed or anything, so don't get too excited. It's not like Dirty Harry in his 80s or anything like that. It's not a Western either. It's like modern day kind of thing. But anyway, so The Man with No Name trilogy, the Sergio Leone movies, spaghetti westerns, because they were made by an Italian film director. What is to say about these great films? They recently have got, or are getting, a 4K, getting focus, a 4K UHD Blu-ray upgrade by Arrow Video. I don't know if I'll bother with that, to be honest. I've got so many things to upgrade, and from memory, these are very nice. But I'll consider that anyway. So that's those films. This next one, I've had this for quite a long time. I seem to remember getting this for Christmas in 2011. And I did a review of this box set back in 2014, so over a decade ago. So you can check that out. In fact, I did a little video intro, I seem to remember, on that, if you want to check it out on the channel. It's got the movies. Each one's got 2 films in each box that's within that. And you can see a full list of the movies that are on there. So if you want to pause this and see what's included, now's your chance. There's also a documentary called The Eastwood Factor as well. Some of the DVDs, to be honest, have extra features on them as well, with some extra features and so on, like the Dirty Harry. It's got all the Dirty Harry movies. This is basically the Warner Brothers collection. He did a lot of movies with Warner Brothers. But as I say, these are just DVDs, and some of the latter ones, you'll see ones that he didn't star in, but did direct. So that's that one. This next one is another Warner Brothers collection, and it kind of overlaps with that last box set, the DVD set, because some of these has the same titles. But I considered this box set an upgrade to Blu-ray for all of the movies that you can see there. So it's got 20 films in there, and I got this second hand, hence it's a little bit battered. Just paid a little bit less to get it slightly knackered like that, but you can see there all the stuff that you get. So you can pick this up at relatively decent price. Again, like I say, this is another Warner Brothers one, and inside it you get these. These have all the discs in, and then there's this. I think that's a DVD of some kind. Yeah, the Eastwood Factor extended version. That's the documentary that you also got in that last DVD set, if you can remember a moment ago I mentioned. I seem to remember that last box set I just showed you, the Blu-ray set, I bought at the same time as I bought this, because I was doing a big Blu-ray upgrade on a lot of my movies a few years ago. And I also got this from new, And this is the Paramount movies. And there's some really good ones on here. Play Misty for Me, that's one that he directed. I think it's the first one that he directed. Kind of like an early version of the movie Fatal Attraction, if you've seen that one. It's kind of like a precursor to that, I guess. Yes, the Beguiled. I think I got a remake. I've not seen it. I think it had Nicole Kidman in it, but the Clint Eastwood one is really good. Two Mules for Sister Sarah, that's brilliant. Coogan's Bluff, that's an early one. I think it was like late 60s that he did. He plays a cop. The Eiger Sanction, very good. So yeah, a lot of good films on this set as well. Some kind of underrated ones, to be honest. But yeah, you can see how many films he's done, how many absolute gems he's done over the years. So that's my collection anyway. Obviously, I'm kidding there. There's the Dirty Harry movies as well. Save the best for last. So this is what he's best known for, you could say. So there's the four movies there. These span from the early 70s through to the late 80s. And this box set is on a Blu-ray set, so you get all the movies on there, as you can see. Now, I am going to be doing a video with my co-reviewer talking about these. So I won't say too much about them. I will also mention that I recently upgraded the first movie on 4K. Currently, there's nothing announced about a release of all the other four movies in this franchise. But I watched this one yesterday. Kind of good timing for Clint Eastwood's 95th birthday. But I'm going to watch the rest of the movies. Magnum Force, probably watch that tonight. So, and also doing this video as well for the 95th birthday. So, yeah, pretty good. I'll be talking about these in a separate video, I imagine. So I'll leave that there.